Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast. Before we jump into today's episode, we want to invite you to grab your tickets to our upcoming festival on January 31st. Head to atasteofaz.com right now to grab your tickets, and while you're there, make sure to subscribe to our email newsletter, subscribe to our magazine, and check out some of our recent articles. Now, let's get into today's episode.
All right, we're here. This is a beautiful space. This is incredible. Everywhere I look, it's like, wow. Like, whoa, what's that over there? This is
I know
awesome.
the fun keeps going here.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And Amber, thank you for joining the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're at George and Gather, and I told you I was going to do something a little bit different at the beginning of this episode because I just got to take some cool amateur style reels. Luke is the professional of your food, and I tasted some. Holy mother of...
You know
wow.
what?
Yeah. Yes. Holy crap. Wow. So good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes my heart very happy.
Yeah. And I didn't know that was Jason, your chef, when I first was walking in.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah. He seems very noble, very stoic.
Yeah. He's like calm in the storm, you know?
Yeah.
He's like the guy that's like, it's okay. We got this.
You need that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. In this day and age, you can't have the guy back there throwing pans and stuff.
No,
people,
it's
right?
good for TV and not good for real life.
Exactly. Yeah. That died a long time ago. I'm like, I was never really into that. Like,
Yeah.
I like the more calm, but okay. So I had the burger, bestseller.
Yeah.
Right?
Number one.
Why?
Because it's delicious, crave-worthy. Our whole motto here is like clean and crave-worthy,
Yeah.
but it's just all the components to it. There's no component that wasn't thought about. So it's like grass-fed, grass-finished beef because that's along with our brand.
Yeah.
And then we've got a house-made sauce, and our pickles are house-made out of zucchini and squash, which are so unique. I was like, we have to sell these in the market for grab and go in case people want to have this pickle experience on their at-home burgers.
Yeah.
And then we have our local brioche buns that are made by Nice Buns. That's just like that brioche that melts in your mouth. So it's just the combination with the good sharp cheddar cheese. I mean, it's magic.
It was magical. Yeah. I knew it was going to be amazing before I even tasted. Just when I was touching it, like cutting it, I was like, whoa, what am I cutting into here? Because it was, it blew me away. That was fantastic. And then even the salad, the beet salad.
Yes.
So what you brought out, I almost feel like you were peering into my life a little bit, and you brought me what I would order and then what my wife would order.
Oh, perfect. Probably because I was like, okay, the burger's the number one,
Yeah.
but then I love the beet salad.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
Yeah, fresh,
Yeah.
very fresh tasting. Like it was, and I, that's kind of a cliche term or a buzzword or whatever. You want to always, but this really stood out.
Yeah, I think part of it is the basil in there. There's like the chiffonade of basil,
Okay.
which I'm a big basil fan. And then it's an orange balsamic vinaigrette. So it's like oranges and beet and goat cheese are just a, perfect combination. So I love it. I'm like, if there's a beet salad on a menu somewhere, I'm ordering it. So I was
Okay.
like, we had to have a great beet salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, if I'm going anywhere to eat with my wife too, I know I'm going to eat a beet salad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to order it probably, but if there's something called a harvest bowl or a beet salad or something like that, she's like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm like, 2 patties on that burger. Can we do 3?
Yeah.
Can we do 3 extra cheese?
Sounds very similar to me and my husband.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's the nature of the world.
Yeah.
But no, that was fantastic. And then the other thing that was the bread.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
our whipped goat cheese.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I should have grabbed a piece of that one. Yeah.
I know that's our number one appetizer by far, but that's the chef that helped us create about half of our menu is a private chef up in Flagstaff. And about 4 years ago, she was like, what do you want for an appetizer? And I was like, well, my girls love goat cheese. Can you do something with goat cheese? So she made that dish. And I was like, this is quite possibly one of the best things I've ever tasted. She's only ever made that for us. And so when we started to collaborate together on the menu, I was like, can I please have that recipe on the menu?
Yeah.
And so her name is Fiona. So that's titled Chef Fiona's Whipped Goat Cheese on our menu to pay honor to her for creating such an amazing dish. But it's an herb whipped goat cheese with organic raspberries and microgreens and local raw honey with some local pecans and then Barrio's amazing sourdough. which, I mean, just the smell of that bread, like toasted with some butter
Yeah.
and that whipped goat cheese, it's a knockout.
Well, now I have, I don't have many regrets in my life, but now let's add that to the list.
I can make that regret go away.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we just did an episode with Don and Oren from Barrio. Don, technically called Don Gira's Barrio Bagels and Slice.
Yes, a mouthful.
Awesome people. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, and like that's gonna be a long title for a podcast, but I'm proud to have that on there. But so we did the pizza class with him on Thursday, and funny, just kind of random rant. I'm as I'm going through this entrepreneurial journey and personal journey of growth and all this stuff. I was just sitting the other night writing things I like to do and what I don't like to do, right? And I was like, I like to cook for my family. My wife was like, "Do you really though?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Like all these years, I've been telling myself that I like to cook. And then I realized like I don't. Like I love having like hosting a party and I like serving my guests good food, but I don't like the process. So we did this pizza class, and I had fun at it. But Luke, my business partner, he was loving mixing the dough and stuff. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't wanna
And it's
do this.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Realize what you like, what you don't like. But Don's ability, I mean, he is a breaducator, as he
Yes.
calls himself,
Yep.
right? Fantastic. And what a great person, too.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just love working with him.
Yeah.
So when we were launching this restaurant, I had a friend tell me about Don saying he has the best sourdough bread. And so I just looked him up and like cold called him and was like, "Hey, my name is Amber Kovarik and I'm opening a restaurant. I heard you have the best bread." And this was right about when he was opening his Gilbert location because
Oh.
Barrio Bagel and Slice opened, I think, like 2 months after we opened.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
so he
Okay.
was just starting like distribution up here in the valley. So it was like really good timing. And so we met and he's been sourcing our sourdough ever since. And it's been such an incredible partnership. So that was like my dream, was to like find these local purveyors that pour their heart and soul into their product
For sure.
and be able to highlight them and share that with our guests.
Yeah, when and you taste it, right? Like I said, when I cut into that burger, that bun, because that's why I asked you, like, was like, where's this bun from, right? Because it was incredible, and I love just the whole premise of what you're doing at Georgian Gather. It's a beautiful space. I can already tell you're a wonderful person. So you've got the whole package here.
Thank you.
I'm way up north. I'm at like up by the Deer Valley Airport, but I'm gonna tell my wife we need to make the trip down.
Yeah,
like
we would love
weekly.
that.
Yeah. Well, so are you originally from Arizona?
No, but I've been here for about 25 years.
Okay.
So from Colorado, came out here to go to Arizona State and
Okay.
then ended up staying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I think that I got a job in mortgage. So I've been in mortgage for 22 years. And, all of a sudden you like start a career and then I feel like you blink and you're like, I'm married and I have 2 kids and I still live in Arizona. So I guess this is my new home. So it was never like the intention necessarily to be here, but it's a great hub. It's easy to travel from and it's been a great place for us. And we've been in Chandler for about 20 of those years. And so that's why we really wanted to do something in Chandler where we've like built roots and built our family.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so a lot of years. So what year did you said 03 you started the mortgages?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's funny, but what I have my friend that I was telling you about that I did the podcast with, when we were back in Ohio, he worked for a mortgage company, and he was killing it. Like he was doing great. And like 05, I think it was 05 or 06, he got me a job at the mortgage company and I could not close a deal.
Yeah.
Like I was horrible.
That was a
he's like,
hard time.
Yeah, he was like, "Dude, you came in pretty much as
You
the
missed
opportunity
the whole
was."
ride. Yeah.
I did, yeah. And I'm like, "Hey, man, can I sleep at your house? Because you have a beautiful house, and I can't get paid." But for me, it all culminated into me moving out here, so I'm very fortunate for that. But it's a tough industry. Like you have to be a tough, determined person to do well at that.
Yeah, it is. I really like careers where I have my destiny in my hands, So it's like the harder you work, the more success you can have. And so it fit my personality really hard, but that was challenging. And doing a restaurant is even more challenging than that, in just like a whole different way. But I feel like a lot of what I did over the last 22 years in mortgage really like prepared me for this next piece. But it's just like restaurants been on my heart for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. I was reading something. I think it was it a New Times thing or Phoenix
Probably.
Night, one of those
Yep.
where you take notes. You go
Yeah,
to
like
places
in
before you even.
college,
Yeah.
my dad would come into town and we would take notes on like a journal that I wish I still had of like, what do we love about this restaurant or what would we do different? And I
Yeah.
just knew like someday I would own a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like truly with that vision in mind of
Yes.
one day. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to see that notebook too.
I know. I remember sitting at a couple of restaurants and like taking the notes, but
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to it over the years.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that you retained a lot of it too. I mean, I feel like writing is a good way to retain the information.
For sure.
Like once you write it down, then it's almost like seals it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like too, like my husband and I travel for food. So I would just like have this eye when I'm eating in a restaurant of just I'm paying attention to things maybe most people don't pay attention to and like thinking like, oh, that's really cool, or oh, I noticed that. I wouldn't do that, and just always just seeing restaurants from a different point of view.
Like flow and stuff like that, like the way
Yeah, and
things
like
flow
how
and
you feel in it, in the
sure.
space, and like
Yeah.
what you see. And I'm a big like if you've done strength finders, like harmony is my number one strength. So I feel
Okay.
like I'm all about like how does this feel to be in this space and how do the guests feel and creating this environment that encourages them to come back because they like the way it feels so
Yeah.
much.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's the was it Maya Angelou. People don't remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. Yeah, and you remember how the restaurants made you feel.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you want what do you want people to feel when they come in,
I
George and
want them
Gather?
to feel like this bustling energy, right? Where it's like busy and there's things happening, but they're seen and they're taken care of and they're catered to. And it's a place where they can come for all the different outlets. So we tried to make it where it's casual enough for your like morning laptop session in your yoga pants, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna pop in here and get a little work done. And then like elevated enough for you to have a milestone celebration at night. And luckily we've hit that, like at night we have a lot of birthdays and anniversaries and celebrations happening because we like turn down the lights, kick up the music, and it turns into a, more elevated experience. So we want people to feel good, both like emotionally and also physically, right? Like no stomach aches here. You feel
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
because the food that you eat is like clean and trusted.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Yeah, because there's many places that my wife is like, how are you gonna feel after this?
I
I'm like, I love
know.
chili cheese fries.
Yeah.
Chili cheese dog. That was a staple back in Ohio, like for me. And she's like, how are you gonna feel after you eat all that? I'm like, not good.
Yeah.
But I'm
It's worth it in the moment.
exactly. But I am starting to realize I feel like maybe as I'm getting older, it's affecting me more. Because like now it'll sit with me all day. And plus my wife is incredible and she has I call it suggestive dominance, where she's continually told me, like, do you really want to do that?
Really?
Okay, you
Yeah.
can get that. You can get the calzone if you want.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel good after that. I'm like, I'm fine.
I don't
I'm all stubborn. I'm like, oh, I don't feel good.
later,
So
yeah.
so now my body's getting more used to like eating more vegetables and eating sweet potatoes and all these things. And so now when I do eat something that is not great, I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how that happens. Like
For
your
sure.
body gets used to that healthier way. So then when I do eat out sometimes I'm like, oh, bad stomach ache because my body's like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And I tend to overeat too. Like I'm like, all right, this is a Cabeza breakfast burrito that weighs at 2 pounds. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. And then I'm like, what did I do? And she knows. She just looks at me. She's like, what did you have today? But I make better choices and
We
when
make
I'm
it
in
easier to make better choices here.
it's when it tastes fantastic,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
yeah. So okay, so you're going through this journey of um mortgages and taking notes at places for a hobby, but kind of still with something in mind.
Yep.
Right? Did you have a checkpoint of where you're like, okay, by 2025, I want to open a place. Did you
I
have anything like
didn't.
that?
It was just
Okay.
kind of like at some point in the future,
Sure.
there wasn't this like moment, but I was just doing my thing in mortgages. And then my husband bought this building in December of 2020. And it was an ex-auto body shop that was Pepto-Bismol pink, wrapped in barbed wire with like pigeons living in it.
Like literally wrapped? Oh,
That
yeah.
second picture over there actually is
Oh,
what the building looked like, but that
okay.
picture doesn't quite do it justice because it's
Okay.
in black and white.
Yeah.
So you don't get the like pink color, which was
Yeah.
really the standout.
Sure.
And so I was like, you bought this property? Like you own it? And he's like, yeah, let's put your restaurant in here. And at the time, that was when mortgage interest rates were hitting like all-time lows. And I was like, I'm so busy, I can't even see straight. I can't open a restaurant.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, I'll rent it out to a restaurant. And so he started that path really slowly of getting the exterior built out to lease to a restaurant. And then fast forward to April 21st of 2023. It was our 16th wedding anniversary, and we were on a hike. And he was like, "You are miserable," because now the previous 18 months had been the most grueling, grindy, hard of my whole mortgage career because the industry just crumbled. I had to like lay people off for the first time, and my soul was just like kind of crushed. And he was like, "You deserve to chase your dream. Let's open your restaurant." And that at that moment, I was like, let's do it. Like, I believe in living the most biggest badass version of your life. Like, we get one shot at this. We might as well go big and not have any regrets,
For
as you were
sure.
talking
For
about,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, if this is like what I stand for, I've got to take this leap and do it. And so I said yes that day. And at lunch, we started penciling out, like, what is this restaurant going to be? And so that was just shy of 2 years. We opened March 12th of 2025 from
Okay.
the day I said yes to the day that our doors opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So when that moment happened, like when you're on this hike, like, do you feel like the heart race and like, oh dang, this is
Yeah.
about
I
to get
just
real?
feel like flooded with like ideas and creativity. And it's like this just like kind of pent up, like everything that I've been wanting to create, because I feel like I've been obsessed with, I love food. I love health and wellness. And I love creating experiences for people. And I realized, like, looking back, that's why I think I had a lot of success in mortgage, is because for me, it was like creating this experience that was different than what most people were used to experiencing in getting a
Sure.
mortgage.
Yeah.
And so for restaurant, it's like this culmination of all of those things. It's like food, I've incorporated health and wellness, and I get to create these experiences for people. So it's like so exciting for me because it hits all of the things that I absolutely love.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I'm right there with you too. Like the health and wellness thing is new to me.
Yeah, it
Like
sounds like it. You're on that journey.
I am
Yeah.
on that journey. Yeah. But it's all of those things kind of come together so well. And it almost seems like uh restaurants can sometimes hit two of those three, right? It's that two of out of three kind of rule thing. Where if you can nail all of those, like that's incredible. And I think you've done it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw this like opening in just like my personal life of what I wanted, of like creating a space, because there are like the healthier restaurants, but a lot of them are fast casual.
Sure.
And so they're not necessarily a place you want to go have a celebration at. And so I was like, if we could create a place that had clean and crave-worthy food, like, I don't pigeonhole us into healthy, because we have a burger and carrot cake pancakes and French fries, not technically like healthy food, but it's clean, made with trusted ingredients. Because when you go out to a restaurant, you don't always want to eat healthy. Like, I like to splurge and have carrot cake pancakes sometimes or whatever. So it's like clean and crave-worthy with ingredients that you can trust in like a vibey, energetic, beautiful space. It is like, how do we create all three of those things here? Was the goal. And I feel like we found like a little hole in the market
Yeah.
that people have really been attracted to.
When I think too, it feels like Arizona is like the Valley specifically, and only just because I'm not saying that Flagstaff or Tucson was not like this, but because I live here. But you see a lot of focus on healthier options. There's just in general, I think there's healthier lifestyle that people's desire to. I mean, myself included. I quit drinking a year and a half ago, really for my mental and physical health. And it wasn't like a major like, oh my God, I need to quit. This or that happened that was bad. It was like, no, I was like, you know what? I know I can feel better. I know that, with what we're building, I was just at my peak of energy. So I'm like, I've reached my ceiling unless I remove some of these unhealthy habits that I have. And now it's like, now it's snowball. Now it's like, wow. Now, okay, if I cut this out, then I'm not going to want to eat another burger after,
Yep.
or
It's
So
that domino effect,
for sure.
So like for
Yeah.
me, it was part of this like mission is maybe people start wondering, why don't you use seed oils here, and why is it important to have organic berries or organic chicken, and then they start to uncover and maybe make changes in their life. And then, when you make one change and you start to feel better, then you make another change and all of a sudden you crave that way that you're feeling. So same for me. I did a dry January about 2.5 years ago, and I came out of it and was like, I feel so good. Why
Yeah.
do I drink?
Yeah.
And then I just stopped drinking
Same.
because
Yeah.
I feel
Congrats.
so good. And I was
Yeah.
like, I crave that like clarity in my mind when I
Yep.
like wake up in the morning, and the energy more than I want the buzz and the
Yeah.
drink.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I would say, it's not a downside. It's something my wife and I talk about all the time. We just went to Ohio 2 weeks ago for my nephew's wedding. And pretty sure we're the only of the 250 people, we're the only ones not drinking.
Yep.
We're like, okay, it's good because you get the gift of time back in a way, but man, does time drag sometimes, right? Like a 5-hour wedding over the course. Actually, so it went from 4 to 1 in the morning, and we made it to like 11. I'm like this felt like 3 days. Like this was so. And then you see people like morphing, right? And you're like, by 11 o'clock, I'm like, we need to get that out.
Because you're like, I don't want to be around it. When I'm not in that state too.
For sure. Because when we're in it. I'm like, oh, that would have been great. But yeah, well, I mean, I think it's cool that places like this. And another, do you know Stacy Weber? Yeah. It's her. I get that same kind of with her spot.
Yeah.
With Amelia's.
I had a PR team be like, you need to go to Amelia's. It's the closest thing that we know of to what you're describing. And this was in the beginning of me launching it. And so I went in there and Stacy was there and I just went up and introduced myself to her and was like, hi, I'm Amber. I'm opening a restaurant. And I was basically like, will you be a mentor to me? And so she didn't know probably how much I was going to bug her. But we stayed really connected through all of this because she's another one like championing for this like no seed oils and local and organic. And so it's really fun to have conversations with her. So I'm a really big fan of what she's doing.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Her energy level is like,
oh yeah.
Like, wow. Like, is this do you get that from not having seed oils? I'm in, right? Is that how you get this energy? But once again, incredible food, like really great crave-worthy food.
Yep.
I won't use that tagline. That's your
That's
tagline.
okay. You can borrow it with her.
Okay, cool.
I know, like it's same for me. Like I would drive 30 minutes to go to Amelia's to eat because I knew I would get good, clean food that everybody in my family enjoyed that I wouldn't feel bad about afterwards. And I have people that I'll run into. They're like, oh my gosh, I drive 30 minutes from Scottsdale to come down there because of how I feel after I eat the food.
Yeah.
So
that's great. So as you're going on this journey to open up Georgian Gather, how do you even, because I know that like sourcing ingredients, if you have like a food distributor, it can be challenging. But how challenging has it been for you to source the things that you want to get?
yeah. Well, when I first started, I gave my chef a list. It had 32 local purveyors on it. And he was like, no. First time restaurateur here. And I was like, why not? And
well,
he's like,
have all their phone numbers right there.
He's like, that's a logistical nightmare. So I was like, okay, let's like meet in the middle here. And so we went through and like, what is the most important? And so I think right now we're at like 12, which is still a lot. You know, I mean, we're sourcing like olive oil, honey, bread, yogurt. Like they're coming from like local purveyors here that really care about their craft. So my thing was like, if we don't make it in-house, then I want to source it from someone local. And so it's been really fun to get to know these local partners and understand their business and their vision and mission behind what they're doing. Like I went and tried Culture Clash's Greek yogurt at a farmer's market and I was like, this is amazing. And so now they supply us with all of our Greek yogurt that we have here and stuff. And so that was just been a passion of mine. And I want to continue to expand that program. You know, we have this incredible organic strawberry jam that's made by a lady here that makes this organic jam just for us.
Ah, nice.
And it's pair that with the Barrio toasted sourdough bread.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can only get it here.
You can
at
only
Georgian
get it
Gather.
here.
Yeah.
And then it's like a little platform, hopefully, to give exposure to these like small businesses that are doing really cool things here.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's so hard. I mean, it's the whole that's something I didn't really expect coming into this was like the complexity of like the distribution system. And it's like you said, like I have all this list of things and they're just like, no, we get that. No, we can get that sometimes. And then what you're getting, you have to get it all the time, right? For consistency.
And then organic, you know, because a lot of people aren't doing that. Getting, you know, all of our lettuces are organic and our berries and our chicken and our oats. And I have apples. Like I have my minimum standards. And I was really surprised at how hard it was going to be to source some of that organic product. So we definitely have more distributor relationships than most restaurants. But the great news is my culinary team is like fully supportive and like backs this vision of like why we're doing it this way. And so they'll go to that extra detail to have better organization and more systems and structure to make sure that the ordering process isn't all consuming.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I would assume if you like it too, right? If your culinary team likes it, it's like, well, absolutely. We'll drive to get that, or we'll like you make special considerations or whatever to make that happen.
Yeah.
You know, there's more thoughtfulness. And and that translates to the dish and to the experience of the consumer too.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
fun. Like, I went with my chef, and we went over to Hayden Flour and toured their mill last week,
Ah,
and Dawn
nice.
walked me around, and I met the owner, and we got to see Sonoran Pasta, which is another local partner that we use, and they're all,
Nice.
like, right there in the same building, like, making their products. I'm like, "This is so cool." It just, like, fuels me to continue to build something more like this.
Yeah, well, it's on the same road too, right?
Yeah.
Just right up,
Yep.
what is it, 87 or Arizona
Yep.
Avenue, or has like 3 names, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
I just
does. Depending
Country
on, like,
Club.
where you're at, and then it converts. You're
Yeah.
like yeah,
Why
they're, like,
yeah.
3 minutes apart from each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
Yeah.
but same, get on this road out here, 87, and just go straight up and
Yeah.
yeah. And that's, I mean, that's one of the things that I was telling you before is, coming from craft beer, that's really what I loved about craft beer was like, the intention of trying to use local products for, hops are tough because hops don't grow well in the desert, but there have been people trying to do it, like in the Verde Valley.
Cool.
There's somebody doing like greenhouse hops a few years ago, but it's hard to do. But the breweries are small enough that they can do small batches of things, right? They can use, prickly pear from Tucson or, so that really opened my eyes. I'm like, man, we have a really cool agricultural scene here. Not really knowing like really how much of an understatement that was, right? I mean, agriculture here is like literally thousands of years, And I think it's cool that we're kind of going back to like what is native here, like what grows naturally here, right? Tamara Stanger we were talking about, and she does that. She talks about jumping over, her neighbor's fence so she could get wolf fairies. So she's like, those grow here. Those are supposed to grow here. That home tree, that's not supposed to be here, But I feel like that we're moving in that direction of like kind of going back, which is interesting because I see in that picture big palm trees by the pink barbed wire.
Yeah. Quite the transformation.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a quick break and then we'll jump back into this.
Okay.
A quick reminder to head to atasteofaz.com and get your tickets to our upcoming Food and Drink Festival on January 31st. Subscribe to our email newsletter and our magazine. Now let's get right back into the episode.
All right. So we were just talking before I started hitting record. We both have daughters.
Yeah.
You're like a year behind
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Yep.
10 and 12.
10 and 12.
11 and 13. I love being a dad to 2 daughters.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It is.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I thought I wanted boys
Yeah.
initially before I had children, because I was always friends with boys more than girls, and I was like, I don't know about the drama thing and all that, but like I am so grateful to have 2 little girls. I love
Yeah.
it so much.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And sisters, like both
Ugh,
having both
yeah.
girls, because I have an older sister that's like 6 years older than me. My wife has a brother that's like 2 years older than her. And it's just, there's that dynamic. And my wife, same way. She was like, it's kind of funny. We always joke that like, if we go to like a wedding or something, like she's having a beer with the guys and I'm talking with like the 60-year-old ladies, like that's my demographic. But she's like, I always pictured myself having boys. And I did kind of too, because I played sports, I played football. And now I'm like, I'm so glad I don't have to like make that decision of can my son play football,
Yep.
Not that my girls can't play football, but they have no interest in it anyways. But yeah, I just love being, so I got to ask you this, because one of the reasons that I was telling you earlier, I don't know if we were recording yet or not, but yeah, I think we were. I don't like to cook.
Yeah.
And I just realized that like 8 days ago. One of the reasons is my daughters are very picky. Right. So like, I'm like, oh, when we go to this restaurant, I'm like, oh my gosh, this mac and cheese, they're using Gouda and Fontina. And they're like,
No.
like, no, I don't want
Can
it.
we have Annie's?
Yeah. Oh, they love Annie's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So how are your daughters with the restaurant?
They're
Do-
really good.
Are they?
Yeah,
Okay.
they love it. My little one is definitely more like my culinary one. Like I think she'll end up cooking a lot. And she came in one day and she was like, Mom, I love that you own a restaurant. And I was like, why? And she's like, because I'm a VIP there and it's really fun.
That's great. Yeah.
So they love it. They love
Yeah.
coming in here and they've got their favorites and they've got to be a part of a lot of the tastings. And I feel like if the kids like the food, then you're winning because the parents can't go to a restaurant if the kids don't like the food because it's not enjoyable for anybody.
For sure.
So it was like,
Same.
we got to make sure that the kids like the food. And on friends and family night, I'll never forget it. It was like our first night of serving our friends and family. And our friend's son, I went up and was like checking on them. How's it going? And he was like, this food is amazing. And he said, it just hits different. And he was like 10. And I was like,
great.
that could be the best thing that I've heard all day.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, it just hits different
Yeah.
according to a 10-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
And so they've been really good and excited about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. I'm gonna bring my daughters down and give you the true test.
Okay, you can say
Yeah.
with it, do they does it hit different or
Yeah.
the same? Yeah.
And they love beef. Both of them love beef. My oldest daughter loves steak. My younger daughter likes hamburgers. I'm
Okay.
like no cheese. Like,
Yeah.
who are you?
I know.
You're not my kid.
Are you mine?
Yeah.
If they like pizza too,
Okay. Yeah.
we have a sourdough pizza that we make
Ooh.
after 4 p.m. and
Okay.
on the weekends, and it's made with a 130-year-old sourdough starter. So we collaborated with a pizza chef out of the state of Washington. He goes by Sourdough Willie, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
So sourdough's been in his family for like 60 years.
Nice.
This starter has been passed down from generation to generation in his family. And it's actually so old that it's housed in the sourdough starter library in Belgium, where they
Wow.
maintain the oldest starters on record to make sure that they live on forever, which
That's
I didn't even know was a
incredible.
thing.
Yeah.
And he is on the World Pizza Championship team, which I also didn't know was a thing before I started this journey, of like 30 individuals who compete internationally for pizza titles. And he won a title for his sourdough pizza, and he helped us craft this recipe and gave us his starter. And so I got the starter about a year and a half ago. And so I started making sourdough bread every week with it. And then I started making sourdough pancakes every weekend for my girls. And it just became like a tradition that we're in love with. And so then I put those sourdough pancakes on the brunch menu here because I was like, sourdough pancakes, they just hit different. They're like crispy and light and airy and just like the perfect pancake. So it's been really fun to play with that. So if they like pizza, you got to come try the sourdough pizza because it's good.
We're gonna make a trip down here.
Okay.
Yeah. As soon as I tell Jackie about this, like all of the stuff, I'm like, just trust me, you're gonna love it. And I like the sourdough element of it too. There was something with craft beer that I really got interested in. Was I went to a brewery in Austin called Jester King. I don't know if you're
No.
in the craft. So Jester King is incredible. It really I already was blown away by like what craft beer could be. But Jester King does all spontaneous fermentation. So it's all wild ales, and they're like in the high, what is the hill country, like outside of Austin. And they have this huge farm, and then they just, instead of using like brewer's yeast or controlled yeast, they just get to work the sugar water basically, and then they open the windows to this building, and all of the wild bacteria come in, and that's what inoculates the beer.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I was like, whoa, like what is this? This is really cool. So then that really got me interested in learning a little bit more about. I'm not gonna say I went down a deep path because, as we've determined, my interest in that is pretty. If I can make it in 10 minutes, I'm good. But just the sourdough aspect is just really cool, and that's what Don was telling us the other day in our pizza class. Was like, it's up to the bacteria, like it's up to the organisms or whatever you would consider them, to how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
So how do you keep it consistent? Like, how do you keep it consistent?
Yeah,
here?
we have like designated team members who are like in
Okay.
charge of sourdough because it's almost
Yeah.
like a child that you have to feed and maintain,
Yeah,
right? So
for sure.
not a lot of places like to do sourdough because it's a whole job in itself to like maintain the starter. And then we make our pizza dough every day and then let it ferment. And so it's, the pastry team is making the pizza dough every morning, and it's just like part of our process. But when we decided to do pizza, I was like, it has to be sourdough. Like, one, I just love that like unique kind of like tangy flavor that you get, but then also the health benefits of the fact that even for someone who's like not celiacs, but like gluten insensitive, right? They've got like a sensitivity to it. They can usually eat sourdough because the gluten has already been broken down by so much. And so for both of those parts, plus because it has like the airiness to it, the creates this dough that's like crispy yet like airy at the same time. It doesn't like weigh you down and make you feel really full.
Yeah.
So it's pretty magical.
Yeah. Well, that's something Don taught me too that I didn't know, is the reason. Like you said, the gluten it's already broken down in sourdough, so your body's not working overtime to break through cells or whatever he was explaining. And he was dumbing it down for us, and I was still like, wow, like what are we talking about here? This is incredible. But then he's like, then just simply put, that's why you feel better when you eat sourdough. It's like the bacteria have already done that work for you.
They have.
So what else? What are some of the other highlight? Well, let's talk about like the decor. Like how did you, because this place is beautiful.
Thank you.
Like, all the way even in the back, like where like I think that's your office and stuff.
Yeah,
back
and
there?
like private event space.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
when doing mortgages, I really built my mortgage career off doing events. And so I knew that there was like this lack of private event space in Chandler specifically. So I was like, we've got to have private event area. And so we designated these 2 rooms. So we can do like about 45 people in this space, and then we can do about 25 people in what we call our gather kitchen. And so we're getting that all up and running. But then we also use this for overflow on busy nights and lunches and such. And so the building was kind of separated into these 3 sections from the original structure. And so it was like, how do we use these 3 sections? And I knew I wanted to have a market with grab and go and fresh pastries and coffee. And I think our coffee program is really unique because all of our syrups are house made, refined, sugar free. So everything is sweetened with local raw honey, organic maple syrup, or agave. And so no like of the, processed pump type syrups. And it was really fun to like develop this coffee program that was like clean and delicious. And then we partnered with Roastery of Cave Creek to get all of our coffee. They do like amazing organic espresso and cold brew. And so I wanted this ability for people to like pop in, and then I got to like get all of my like granola hippie items in the market, like my local raw milk and local eggs and bone broth and elderberry and sea moss gel and like you name it. We've got all the like healthy, wellness stuff in there. That's been really fun to like teach people about too. Like I have this local frozen spirulina in there. That is my new favorite thing that I drop in my kids' smoothies every day. And you could put in yogurt and it just like blends in and it turns it like that bluish green, but it's tasteless and it's so
Interesting.
incredibly good for you.
Yeah.
And so I love having this like platform for people who want to continue to like up level their health to be able to come in here and find some unique things.
Yeah. So, and I assume they can get it like things in your dishes.
Yep.
And then you can also buy some of those things in the store.
Yes.
Yeah. Same brands and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So a lot of it we use in our food and then we sell in the market
Yeah.
too.
I like the market aspect of it because and I'm sure that it's really challenging. It's like, obviously you have now multiple businesses in one business,
Yep.
right? Because you have food services different than an actual market.
Yes.
Was the market always part of the vision for
It
you?
was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
like
really
that.
liked that idea that grab and go, pop in, get something quickly. In the mornings, we are order at the counter and sit wherever. So it's like come in, order at the counter, grab a coffee, bring your laptop, have a leisurely breakfast, have a work meeting. I was always looking for a spot that had great seating and had good ambiance to have my business meetings, and sometimes coffee shops are small or crowded or you don't know if you're going to get in. And so this was just like a really nice space for people to come and co-work in, to have that meeting. So it's open seating until 10:30 and then we flip over to a full service lunch.
Okay. Nice. Which once again, another challenging thing, right? Some places aren't, they're like, all right, we open for lunch and dinner, or maybe just dinner. Like to have all, all of them. Yeah. It's like,
When I told my
what?
team, I was like, we're going 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're like, are you sure? Can
How
we
did you-
start small? And I was like, no, because I love the only day part that would make sense to cut out would be breakfast. And I love the breakfast menu so much. I was like, I can't. The
Yeah.
coffee and the breakfast. And so I was like, we're going for it.
Yeah. How did you get people to work for you?
I know.
Wow.
I've been in sales a long time. So I'm like, when I really believe in something, I can
Yeah.
really sell it.
I
and I
can see
really
that.
believe
Yeah.
in this mission here. We actually got our GM, he's like a family friend that we've known for 20 years. His brother was the best man in our wedding. And I was one day like, what if we could get Patrick to come and run the restaurant? And he'd been at Mastro's for 14 years in LA. And they were like, no way. We eventually got him. He came out and he's running the ship here. He's so incredible. And it's great to have like what feels like a family member here persevering through this, gigantic restaurant that we're building. But it's fun. So he's always like, yeah, Amber can sell. She got me to relocate my family from California out here to run
Yeah.
this restaurant.
To run this open like 3 meal market. We're sourcing 78 different ingredients. But that's great. I mean, that's what it takes, right? It takes the right people, right? Because you can have
it's all
all
about
these
it.
ideas, and then like, who do you get to? And my grandmother owned our town restaurant. The town I grew up in, like pretty much my whole up until my teenage years. She always told me that. She's like, it's the people. Like the people are the ones that make it. And she had generations that worked for her, like parents. Their kids would then start work for her. And she was like, it's so challenging finding people. But if you can, they're the ones that make it work.
Ah,
You
and
know?
then you see them come to life in your restaurant. They're like, oh, I made this new coffee drink for you that I can't wait for you to try. Or like, what do you think about this pizza combination? And I love seeing others get to like flourish and feel comfortable expanding their skills. And that's the goal, is that we just keep seeing people like level up and get really excited about what they're doing and how to be creative here.
That's great. And I'm sure, do they ever tell you like, get out? Like, we got this. Like, just relax a little,
Yeah, they're pretty good about it. I like trust them 100%. Like our team is like incredible running the operations, and that allows me to be like the visionary and be figuring out what new food we want to do and how do we, create more consistency, and that stuff's super fun for me.
Yeah, well, that's what it's about, and that's the challenge. I feel like that's sometimes. I mean, that's, I think, a challenge that we've gone through is like, it's only now, we're 7 years into this. It's only now it's like, okay, I'm seeing a little bit of like, I can get back to the creative things that I like to do, right? Because spend so much time doing the things you have to do, and we're a small team. But as we brought Rachel into our team, and she's been incredible, and she'll just be like, I got this. Like, just like, I'm like, I don't want to overload you with stuff. She's like, throw it at me. I'll tell you if it's too much. And it's been great to just be able to like, wow, like, I can kind of be a visionary now. And so you having that on your team, that's incredible. Like, that's great that you have the people on your team that can allow you to do that.
I know.
Yeah.
It took a while to find them. It wasn't like the first run that we
Sure.
found them. And I now know when you open a brand new restaurant concept, there's a certain type of individual that's like cut out for the pain of that.
Sure. Yeah. For sure.
That is not easy. There are no systems. There's no structure. There's no predictability to it, right? It's like all fresh slate we're building. And for some people, that's like energizing and exciting. And for some, it's crippling, And I realized that after the fact that like, oh, we need to figure out who is ready for this like sort of like pleasant, exciting pain that's going to incur from building something from the ground up.
For sure. Yeah. We've done a great job. This place is great. I am excited to bring my family here.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got to ask you about the name too.
Oh, yeah.
George and Gather.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when my husband bought the building, he started calling it the George because it's on Washington Street.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to the George. And then when I got involved a couple years later, the first word that came to my mind was gather. Like, I wanted this to be the gathering spot for our community. And so we married the two and came up with George and Gather.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Like, it flows. It makes sense.
Thank you.
To the place. Yeah.
What's really funny too is like day 2 that we were open, there was 2 gentlemen sitting at one of our booths, and I was going around just kind of touching tables, and I went up to them and I'm like, hi, I'm Amber. Thanks so much for coming in. And they were like, oh, you must be Mike's wife. And I was like, yes. And he's like, I'm Orrin. I'm the gentleman who he bought the property from. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so great to meet you. What do you think of the place? And he's like, well, it's not a body shop anymore. And he's like, it's beautiful. And he's like, I have a funny story for you. He said, my name is Orrin, and most people don't know how to say or spell that. So if I'm ever at like a coffee shop or a restaurant and they ask my name, I've always told them George. And I was like, what? So I was like full body goosebumps. And he was like, I don't believe that anything happens by chance. And, he's a staple in the Chandler community. And I don't know exactly how long he owned this, but it was many, many years. Yeah. And he ran multiple businesses out of here. And so it was kind of like, he transferred it over to us, and we got to kind of like re-envision it. And then for him to come in and tell that little story, it was just really cool.
That's
I'm like,
cool.
really, George? And he's like, yeah, really.
Yeah. That's smart on his part too, right? Like, that's, like George, just go by George.
Yeah.
She'd be like, wait, that's not your name. It is here.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
For ease of everybody,
For sure. Yeah. So what's the long-term vision look like? Do you have a plan to open more? Do you like, what is the long-term?
Yeah, definitely building more. We went into this and just kind of like picked a number of 15. I don't know if that will be the number, but we actually own the property diagonal to here. It's another very ugly eyesore of downtown Chandler that we're going to convert. And so we're starting to work on that. We've hired the architect and are putting our plans together for that. So very different concept, more casual, more outdoor, live music, but staying true to our brand with the clean food, no seed oils, focused on, local, organic, made from scratch. And so I really need to be freed up to be that visionary, because I'm like, okay, we're off to like the next one. Let's go build. Because from the moment we say, yes, we're doing it, it's probably 2 years out, until we're open. So we're getting to start to dream up that number 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I've always heard like, I listen to podcasts like, I don't know if you ever listen to How I Built This.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep. It's a good one.
And I think it was the guy, Todd Graves, that opened up Raising Cain. And he's like, going from 1 to 2 was the hardest thing.
So I've heard.
Yeah. But beyond 2, that's my pep talk to you. I'm
Yeah,
like, it's going to be
thanks for
hard.
the scare.
Yeah.
No.
But and then once you kind of get that, and then you see like, okay, because what works at 1, there might have to make some adjustments to 2. And then it's kind of like you're off to the races.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, we're going to do a whole nother new concept again,
Yeah.
So like, we're not making it easy on ourselves,
Is
but
it going to be Georgian Gather?
no, it'll be
Okay.
different because it's literally
yeah.
right there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we would cannibalize ourselves a bit.
Absolutely.
But there will likely be more Georgian Gathers. We've already started talking to some developers and stuff. It's been really fun to figure out, what does the future hold and how do we replicate this?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Norterra community
Yeah.
up in we are in dire want of something like this. So, and it's a growing community too. Like they built like all this stuff around the USAA property. That's where my daughters go to school. They're putting in like, I think like a snooze and a couple other ones. We're like, okay, that's a step up, but we want some local ones. Like we want something that's which I mean, I guess from Colorado, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So just
I know the valley is just so big now.
huge.
It's crazy. So that's like the big question mark is like, do we go to Scottsdale? Do we go to Queen Creek? Like, where do we go? And so it'll be fun to just see like what the right place is that pops up. And I feel like this whole time, like I've been led through this. Like for me, this has been very much of like a God thing of like, here's a door open for you. Hey, here's this person. Here's that. It's just like continually feeling like I'm on the right path. Just keep going. I'll keep opening the doors and guiding you. And so really like listening to my guidance through this, which I haven't normally done. Normally I'm like the bulldog that's like, this is what I want and I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
And this has been a lot more like of the intuition and the like flow and the feel of like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here and paying attention to that?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. My wife tells me all the time, she's like, you try too hard. Like, I'm like, why is this not? I'm
Yeah,
trying to
and you're like
bolt-
forcing it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, there's a door open right next to me.
Yeah.
But I'm so focused on like this one that's locked,
For sure. I'm ripping
Yeah.
unscrew the hinges
And they're like,
stuff.
hey, if you just go right here, this path's a lot easier,
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is the path that I was set on.
Yeah.
And so working on that little bit more flow in my life was this is my second career. So I'm like, okay, this time I'm going to do it a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it. Well, Amber, you're doing a great job. This place is beautiful. Yeah. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Thank you for coming. This
Absolutely.
is such an honor to get to talk about my dream
Yeah.
turned reality. And I love what you're doing. And it's really
Thank
fun
you.
to be a part of this community in Arizona. Like, I can't believe how like welcoming everyone has been and how helpful. And it's been really fun to meet some incredibly like influential people in this hospitality space. So I'm excited to keep meeting them and growing.
I love it. And it's just beginning for you.
I know. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today for a Taste of AZ podcast. We look forward to bringing you a new episode very soon here. But until then, don't forget to subscribe to our email newsletter, get tickets to our upcoming event, and get a copy of our magazine somewhere. See you next time.